The Listener is a special project for the 17th International Architecture Biennale in Venice, under the patronage of the Vuslat Foundation. The Listener is a tree. An elm by Italian artist Giuseppe Penone. Emerging from the waters of Venice. A tree revealing to us the fundamental aspects of nature and its consciousness. To find your voice, you need to listen.
Hi everyone, we're back. Just a reminder, if you could mute yourselves, that would be wonderful. Okay, first up, we have Vuslat herself. Could you tell us a little bit more about what generous listening is and why we are at the Venice Biennale?
Thank you. First, I would like to give hello everyone, a big thank you for being with us today and a warm welcome. It's a very special day for us and thank you for joining. And for my Turkish friends in Turkey, herkese çok çok teşekkür ederim burada olduğunuz için. Bizim için çok çok önemli bir gün ve katılarak güç verdiniz. İyi ki geldiniz. Now back to your question. Why generous listening? But before, what is generous listening? Generous listening is really making the intention to speak, to listen. To listen beyond the words, to listen, to be open to the unknown. It's really a courageous act. And in Turkish, we have a beautiful saying. We say, listening with your heart's ear. It's really engaging the heart as well as the mind, which we have neglected for such a long time. And why do we have generous listening? I think today we do have a vast magnitude of intertwined problems. Pandemic, we're living it all together around the world. Environment crisis. Now after the pandemic, mental health crisis, a lot more, especially among the youth. All these huge problems can only be solved if we can create listening and environments, listening climates, even ecosystems. If we do not connect to listening, then we are not finding long-lasting, enduring solutions to the problems. That's why we invite everyone to explore how we can listen better. And it's not only listening to the other, but also listening to yourself and to nature. Only if you can become a good listener to yourself and to nature, you become a good listener to the other. And today we're hosting Penone's work. What could be, I can't think of a better venue than introducing Vuslat Foundation's generous listening concept here at the Biennale, where the theme is how will we live together? And trees have the wisdom. They have the wisdom of being good listeners for generations to all living beings. In many cultures, you know, people gather around the tree to talk and converse and listen. And they create spaces, safe spaces, old secrets. So how can we get inspired by the wisdom of the tree and by this beautiful art of Penone to create these spaces and start a global conversation on listening? I would like to say a few words about the what we will be doing next. We will be having convenings, workshops, talks on listening throughout the Biennale for the next 6 months. And I hope you can also join to some of those inspiring talks. But in the September, we're hoping to come up with our purpose companions on figuring out how we can bring the practices of listening to youth and to education systems. Youth and education systems are going to be our most important community. We're going to engage with universities to do research on this, the barriers of listening and the good listeners. So there's a lot to come, but thank you very much for joining today. And I think I will pass it to our hero, the curator, and he came up with the theme. Thank you.
Now we have the president of the Biennale, Roberto Cicutto, for some comments. Oh.
This is microphone. Buongiorno. I can say whatever I want. So I'm so happy to be here in Venice at the Biennale, the first day of the 17th Mostra di Architettura. Of course, it's not been an easy time to get there, but we succeeded, as we succeeded last year doing the film festival. And the thing which I like most is that I see people very happy to be here, to feel comfortable and safe. We have been working, sorry, I introduced myself. I'm Roberto Cicutto, president of La Biennale di Venezia. I forgot to tell you. And this event is particularly original and unusual for Mostra di Architettura because we have a great Italian artist, Vuslat Foundation, who is very important for us and for the Biennale. And we are showing an opera, a piece of art, which is very strong and even stronger because in the water. So this is combining Venice with the art, contemporary art and architecture. So who is more happy than I am as president of this place? And I have to thank all my team, the curator, Hashim Sarkis, his team, the architect and the national pavilions. They really wanted to be here. They did whatever they can to be here. We felt at the end of February that it was possible and we started working very hard. And here we are. I hope most of you will come and enjoy La Biennale in Venice. Thank you so much.
Now we've got Hashim Sarkis, the curator of the Biennale this year. Hashim, could you tell us why you invited the foundation to take part this year and how generous listening relates to the Biennale's theme?
This Biennale would not have been possible without the Vuslat Foundation. During the formative days when I was thinking about the theme, I got to meet Vuslat and her team, and we had beautiful discussions about the dimension that I had forgotten about, which is the dimension of listening. That expanded my understanding of what living together means, because architecture is always fixated on the eye rather than on the voice or on hearing and listening. And therefore, we have attempted in this Biennale to introduce that dimension thanks to the Vuslat Foundation. Their generous support has also made this Biennale happen because we needed people who believed in the role of art and architecture in society, particularly at this time. And this amazing piece has connected all of the different areas of the Biennale together. It's like a linchpin that connects all of the exteriors with all of the landscape that is out there and water to sky in a manner that no other artist could have possibly done. We've tried many ideas way before we started talking to the Vuslat Foundation about what could happen here. Nobody got it as sharply, as clearly, but in a sublime way as Penone did.
Thank you. And next we have Chus Martinez, who is a collaborator and curator of this project. Hi Chus, could you tell us about the connection between generous listening, Penone, and the symbolism of the elm tree in general?
Yes, of course. Probably you are asking yourself why working with artists when we are dealing with active listening and generous listening. And one of the possible answers is to say that art has been preparing us for centuries for receivership. So historically, we talk about static experience, but actually the experience that art provides is the receivership, preparing us for receiving the world, receiving what the emotions of the world contain. And it's very, very important for us to have been working with Giuseppe Penone. Giuseppe has been working with nature since a very long time, and it was very important after the pandemic, or at the beginning of after the pandemic, to have a tree emerging from the waters of Venice, and to have an Italian artist of his generation actually doing something like that in the context of listening. For many people, listening means activating the ears, but listening means activating the sensing of the world. And he has been for a very, very long time actually pointing towards the fact that by activating all the organs, we are able to produce a new empathy with nature and with the world. And definitely this creates also a new socio-political contract. So it's also important to note that in the context of an architectural biennial, which is a biennial dedicated to the making of the mankind, to the making of things and bricks and construction, it would be really nice to have a tree which is the scale of a real tree. So it's quite humble, and it is actually the scale of nature itself inside a context of presenting what we are able to produce in the future. But the future is definitely also a different relationship with what is around us. And I think another important issue is the fact that artists are really trying to make that more and more visible. And it's a question of attentiveness, and it's also a question of understanding how can we connect different realms and different disciplines and different ways of knowing the world together. So, as I said, in the next months, we are going to activate that in many ways. Workshops and many things are happening. And I think it's very, very important how artists are not illustrating anything. They are doing works in their own terms, but those works definitely add to the effort that philosophers and scientists and many others are in order to produce a different society and a different political bond in between the human and the non-human. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it.
And last but not least, we have Giuseppe Penone himself here. Giuseppe, would you be able to speak about your artwork here and also why you collaborated with the Vuslat Foundation?
Collaboration is, I think, is something that happened when I know the foundation, because I don't know before the foundation. They asked me about, to install this work, but after I have read about the foundation and the propose also of the foundation that I agree is something that is very close to my idea of work and my idea of nature, my idea of vitality. And I think also that is very important things that a foundation that is in a country that is a very difficult country have this view, this open eye on the reality of the world. And this work was, it became, is a work that I have done before that, but perhaps it became like a symbolic piece in relation to the proposals of the foundation, because it's about nature, it's about also the difficulty of nature to survive in the context with human. And the work in that case is the energy of the light that is necessary for necessary for the growth of the tree, and the weight of the stone that push down this energy. So this contrast is something that is part of our existence, especially today.
That's it.
Prego.
And now we have some closing comments from Merve.
Hello, thank you very much for joining us today. I am the director of the Vuslat Foundation. Çok teşekkürler katıldığınız için. In the upcoming 6 months, we will be, as Chus and Vuslat also mentioned, we will be convening, we will be having workshops, and we will do panels and talks around generous listening. And I hope that you will become a part of our community and follow us, and so that we can spread the culture of generous listening all together. And I hope to see you in person in September. Thank you very much.